Ludus Vulpes. Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
And I'm Phil.
You join us as we run through initial thoughts and setup of Arcane Wonders Furnace.
Oh, hang on, it's not a rocket.
It's not a rocket.
It's a furnace! It's the Industrial Revolution! We're burning steel and melting coal. I might be right. Welcome to Arcane Wonders Furnace, which is a nice little engine builder, and the setting and the theme is beautifully illustrated within this game. And the setting is the Industrial Revolution, and you are industrialists, and you are putting your factories to work, and the people in your factories, you're whipping them with whips, and
No,
they're
we're not.
bleeding, and they're not giving them the beer,
Stop
and
it.
bad things are What?
It's nothing like that.
Sorry.
It's nothing like that. Do you want to correct it?
The Industrial Revolution was not good on workers.
No, and most of them were women. Let's bear that in mind. Yes, they were.
Okay.
There were women.
And there were a lot of women working in a lot of the cotton mills and stuff like that.
Exactly. And that was not a good situation.
But hopefully there were no cotton mills by the furnace, because the cotton would have burnt.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to start off with an initial thoughts and setup of a furnace. So we're going to take you through how to set the game up. We're going to take you through our rules, the game's rules, and we'll then give you our initial thoughts on the game.
We are.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay, cool. So if you'd like to join us down at the table, we'll go through setup. So place a board, the box in the centre of the table, removing the lid to reveal the beautiful artwork inside. This particular version of the game comes with the deluxe player mat, so you're going to roll that out in the centre of the table, and that is going to be a store for all your resources and your coins and your cards. So you're going to place the upgrade tokens out, and you're going to place all the resource tokens on those areas of the mat. So for the oil, little yellow hexagonals are going to go into the oil slot, the bluey grey coloured steel is going to go into the steel slot, and the black cubes representing coal are going to go into the coal slot. Once you've got all these sorted, you also will have a set of times 3 times 5 tokens. Place them close to the board, they're going to become useful. Take the cards, and at the bottom of the card there's either a grayed out or an upgrader section. Using the grayed out version showing up, put them at the start of the board and place all the coins at each end of the table. You're going to place the turn order tracker onto the player board, and each player will receive a set of auction tokens in their colour. In a 2-player game there'll be a third dummy player who will also receive a set of tokens. Place the turn order tracker marker in the turn order tracker, and the reminders of which colour you are by each player. First player token is distributed, and starting factory and starting factory owner cards are dealt to each player. Deal out the first row of cards for the auction, and you're now ready to play Furnace.
Voila! We are all set up and ready to play. So, would you like to go through some key rules, Phil?
Okay, so in the game of Furnace, we are going to be auctioning off these cards that you see in front of you. And the ambition of the game is to make as much money as you can. Those industrial capitalists knew exactly how to do it with the sexy cash. Now, the game is going to play over 4 rounds. And each round you're going to be distributing these auction tokens onto these cards. Now, at the end of each auctioning round, the person with the highest value token on the card is going to win that card. It sits in their tableau and becomes part of their own personal production. Everyone else who's bid on that card with a lower number will be able to convert that number into a production. So for example here, if I got the my number 2 token here, and Kirsty had got the number 3 token.
And to be black.
And Kirsty had got the number 3 token. I get the colours right, you get told off. Kirsty's going to win this card. But before that happens, I can convert steel into 4 coal. And I can do it twice because I've got the number 2 token on there. So if you're not winning the card, you can gain some benefit from the rewards at the top. And the number of times you can take that reward is based on the token you have placed on the card. So that's going to be the essence of the game.
Yes.
Now, what's going to happen is we're going to work through this production in order. So you're going to take the production of the card, and then someone will win the card. Take the production of this card, someone will win the card, so on and so forth until all cards are gone. In a 2-player game, we're going to be playing with a dummy player. Any cards a dummy player wins will be discarded from the game. After we've activated this row, we're going to come to our personal board, which is going to be just here. And along our personal board, we will activate our factory tiles in any order we require, taking advantage of the benefits at the bottom of the cards. Now, the advantages are fairly straightforward for the most part, and there's a few things we can do on our turn. So, we all start off with a factory card.
Yes, we do.
That factory card does a number of things, so I'll just place this here. So you will always have something that can be converted into cash as the second line. You will always be able to take an upgrade token, which is the little spanner in a wheel, in a cog. And then you will have at the bottom an opportunity to spend a spanner, an upgrade token and a coal to upgrade one of the factory cards that will be in your tableau. Now, bringing that back, when you upgrade one of these cards, you basically flip them from one side to the other side. Now, on this side, you'll see that here I've got the cog token is grayed out, and when I flip it and upgrade it, the cog token is live. Whenever you're playing these cards, you're going to activate them in sequence, so this will allow me to convert steel to 4 coal once, and then when upgraded, draw a cog token, which is an upgrade token. This might be hotly sought at the start of the game because getting those extra cog tokens, and Kirsty's nodding her head, so this is going to be fought over. And then along the way, you'll see that there are different things. So for example, this particular card is going to convert 2 coal to 2 coins. And you can do that twice.
Nice.
When upgrade, it will also give you an oil barrel. So on and so forth. Most of the details on the bottom of the card are really self-explanatory, really straightforward and easy to follow and easy to pass. The iconography is fantastic and really straightforward to play the game. So you are going to, we're going to work our way down this factory line, buying cards and gaining the benefit of the card, depending on whether we're the highest bidder or not. Then we're going to activate, and we can do this at the same time. So we're going to activate our factory line. And once we've activated our factory line, we'll demonstrate that the factories are exhausted by turning them 90 degrees. And realistically, you need to be following the sequence of play on these cards. So if you get them out of order, and you will get them out of order, because eventually you'll have maybe 5 or 6 cards here, and activating them in particular order is going to get you a little bit more efficiency. So you're going to want to be as efficient as possible. Ultimately, you're going to want cards that convert things to coins. That's going to win you the game.
Coins are victory points.
Yeah, resources at the end of the game are used as a tie break. So in the very rare event that a tie break happens in Furnace, the resources you have left will distinguish who has won the game. So the other thing we've not talked about is our little industrialist card. So each of us start with an industrialist, and that's a special power for the game. So my special power is once per production phase, which is a phase where we activate our tableau, you may spend 2 coal to resolve one of your cards again. So instead of just resolving this card once, I can spend 2 coal to activate this card twice, or any other card in my tableau. That's a really powerful ability, Kirsty.
So my ability is I have an additional 2 coin, which is considered a disc of my colour.
Which is annoying, because Kirsty will get an extra go, basically.
Oopsie.
Yeah, quite. But it's a nice power, and as a friend
there is no non-nice power. They're all good
all powers are really strong, and really beneficial as you play the game.
Yeah.
So that is the game of
My
Furnace.
card, please.
I'll get it for you in a moment.
I'm watching you.
I know.
Watching.
I get that. So that is the game of Furnace, and that is how you play. The resources are infinite, so if you do ever get to a point where resources are running out, you can use the times 5 or times 3 tokens to represent more resources. So there you go, and you'll play for 4 rounds. At the end of each round, this little cog will fall down, and then fall down again, and fall down again. At the end of the 4th round, the game is over, and we will count a cash and establish who is the best capitalist. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think Kirsty's won this game yet, so it might be. It might, for a change,
excuse me?
be me.
Really? I think I have. Well, no, I have to check my stats now.
Okay, so initial thoughts on Furnace. So, go on. You can go first.
Okay, so I hadn't heard much about this game prior to Essen, and a good friend of ours, Matt, has talked non-stop about it and kindly has taught us and lent us this game.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful game. It's a fantastic engine builder. I think it's actually a really good introductory engine builder.
Yeah, I'd say that.
To people. Just in the respect that it's so simple to pick up. The iconography is so easy. You match the item with the icon. It's so easy to follow. The artwork is beautiful. It's fairly straightforward to see what the upgrade is going to be. You can see it's there. You know whether it's worth upgrading or not, depending on what abilities you have already built into your tableau. The resources are simplistic, but it doesn't simplify the game. The game is still a fantastic game every time you play. There's a lot of beautiful artwork on here that reminds me of where I grew up.
Yeah,
in the
West
Black
Midlands,
Country, in the West Midlands. So yeah, it's I really enjoy that connection to it. Yeah, I really like this game. I'm yet to find something that isn't quite right with it. But I haven't played all the powers yet. So I'd like to play them all before I give final thoughts.
So I would say, as a game, as an engine builder, this game is right in the ballpark of what I want from an engine builder. It's over in half an hour. You never get to that point where you are dragging your heels trying to figure out the best way of processing your particular engine. And that, for me, is a great engine builder. A lot of engine builders, for me, overstay their welcome. Terraforming Mars, you are one of them. I've not played the Ares expansion yet, which apparently shortens it, but still. It's a tough game for me, and I just really dislike the length of that kind of engine builder, because it feels like the sort of the escalation of the game becomes almost so bogged down by the amount of triggers you have. In this game, yes, you might get sort of 5, 6, 7 triggers before the end of the game. You're not able to use them all sometimes, so that might actually help. And the game does play in a good, solid half an hour for 2 players, even with the sort of dummy player.
I think even with 3 players.
Absolutely, yeah.
When we played with Matt, I think it was about a half-hour game.
You might have a couple of turns where you're like, actually, I'm not sure what to do this turn, and that's fine. I slightly disagree with Kirsty on this being an introductory engine builder, only for one reason, and it's the same reason and the same feedback I offered in the Red Rising video and in It's a Wonderful World, which there's a definite feel of It's a Wonderful World in here as well, about how you're activating in order and all those kind of things. You have to design your own victory condition. You have to establish a way of earning money during the game. And that, for a player hitting this for the first time, who's a new gamer, might struggle, and they might feel like, there's a good chance that if you play well at this game, you're going to blow them out of the water. But actually, the mechanics feel powerful. They feel really flexible as you go. You can see what the players are doing and maybe adjust or adapt. You can absolutely get in other players' ways as you're bidding and auctioning these cards. And what that provides you with is sometimes a forced flexibility, which the game allows for. And that forced flexibility, to me, is one of the real strengths of this game. You can re-divert your strategy midway and still get away with it. You might not get the maximum score you were hoping for, but you'll still get a good score out of it. And when you're processing your tableau, you just like resources coming in and going out and cash coming in, and it feels like that kind of it feels like factories. The feel of the game sits well with the theme.
It feels very...
I've got goods coming in. I'm changing them, and then money's coming in response to that, and it feels like you're running a factory. So it's a really nice, solid game that sits well within its theme. And I think it's an absolute fantastic engine builder that never ever says it welcome. So for me, maybe not for new gamers, in my opinion, maybe not for new gamers, but for anyone who likes engine builders but likes the game to be relatively quick and pacey, Furnace for me is a top tip.
Okay, interesting, because just on that, I think your starting card, like in It's a Wonderful World, does actually help give you a slight guidance towards what can bring money in for you each round. And in terms of engine builders, I think that you'd probably put this, then It's a Wonderful World, and then Red Rising. If you had to put them in a certain order, that's specifically what I would choose. Because for me, I feel that there's very limited information on here.
Okay.
Whereas It's a Wonderful World, it depends what you're doubling it up with, what you're teaming it up with. And then in Red Rising, there's so much individual character on all the different cards.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be the first one of those three that we talked about today.
I think you're right. And I think you're right because Wonderful World is slightly more challenging because it's got the card draft at the start, and that makes life a little bit more challenging. Although this auction activity is actually quite... You get knocked off a lot. You want to own a card, you end up not owning the card, but getting some resources. So that is a real plus. Key. Yeah, resources are key. So
and these are great resource cards to start the game. And also, actually, when you do set up, I'm not sure we mentioned this, you gain the resources that are on your production card.
You do.
Your first production card.
So Kirsty will get 2 coal and I will get an upgrade cog.
Ooh.
Boom.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, yes, that's our initial thoughts of
Furnace, an absolutely wonderful game and well worth your time to play.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.
Don't forget, we're also on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Ludus Vulpes.
Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, everyone.
See you soon. Bye-bye.